Marina Mabrey deserves a lifetime ban from the WNBA. Mabrey should be ejected, a third fan declared. Refs need to be reprimanded. Luckily, Cece didn't get hurt being shoved like that. The league needs to suspend Mabrey. If not, it could get ugly. Guys, we're not even quite a month into the season.
In a controversy that has exploded barely a month into the WNBA season, Chicago Sky guard Marina Mabrey is under intense scrutiny after newly surfaced footage appears to show her delivering what many describe as an intentional and forceful swing at Indiana Fever's rising star Aliyah, Boston, during a game that was...
We got continued fallout around the Marina Mabrey incident that took place against Caitlin Clark. The entire game turned into a clown show because of J.C. Sheldon's actions and Mabrey's actions.
Already brimming with tension and rough physicality from the opening tip-off. The clip, now circulating widely on sports shows and social media feeds, captures a moment near the basket where Mabrey, caught in tight defensive contact with Boston, suddenly swings her arm in what fans have called an MMA-style elbow motion. The kind of move rarely, if ever, seen in a basketball context.
So, we got something new now. All right, we've got Aliyah Boston and Marina Mabrey, okay? And what looks like a situation where they get tied
without immediate ejection, or at least a harsh technical foul. Slow motion replays magnify how dangerously close the swing comes to Boston's head and neck area, fueling heated debates about whether this was a reaction in the heat of a physical rebound battle or a premeditated act designed to send a message or vent frustration in a game that had already seen tempers flare on multiple possessions.
And once again, Marina can't seem to control her temper, and she puts on what looks like an MMA elbow swing, a mixed martial arts elbow swing, a UFC, a WWE bionic elbow.
Leading up to that point, what has truly set off a firestorm is not just Mabrey's apparent swing, but the baffling reaction, or lack thereof, from the game's officials, who were positioned within clear sight lines, standing just feet away from the contact, yet chose to let play continue uninterrupted, drawing immediate fury from fans, sports commentators, and even some WNBA insiders who argue this failure to blow the whistle not only compromised Boston's safety in that instant, but also emboldened more reckless play for the remainder of the game, setting the tone for chaos that overshadowed every legitimate play that followed. Critics point to a pattern that's become familiar in the league. When officials miss clear calls, players push the boundaries further, trusting that consequences will come late, if at all. And this was no exception, as just one possession later, Mabrey became entangled in yet another controversial moment when she forcefully shoved Caitlin Clark, arguably the league's biggest rookie star, in the face of its push to capture a larger national spotlight. During a scramble for position, a shove that was initially ruled a simple common foul until video review upgraded to a flagrant 2. But by that point, frustration had spread like wildfire through the arena and online, with fans demanding.
The more the day goes by, the more things are coming out and being discovered about last night's game, and Marina Mabrey just looked like she was just unhinged out there after looking at this, man.
To know why a player who had just swung at 1-star minutes before was still allowed on the floor to escalate tensions with another, the reaction from the WNBA community has been seismic across Twitter, Instagram, and sports talk shows. Voices ranging from everyday fans to former players have unleashed a torrent of condemnation, branding Mabrey reckless, dangerous, and undeserving of her spot in a league that markets itself on skill, toughness within the rules, and respect among elite competitors, with hashtags calling for a season-long suspension, a lifetime ban, and memes comparing her swing to infamous moments of unsportsmanlike conduct in men's sports history that resulted in harsh penalties or permanent reputational damage. The uproar has also reignited an old but unresolved debate about the consistency and quality of officiating in the WNBA. Critics argue that this incident exposes how gaps in refereeing create the conditions for dangerous play to spiral unchecked, leaving stars vulnerable to cheap shots that not only risk physical harm, but also undermine trust in the fairness fairness of the competition, a problem worsened by the league's rising profile and the influx of young fans who expect clear accountability when someone crosses the line on national TV. Some observers have drawn direct parallels between Mabrey's actions and other recent, high-profile discipline issues in the league, like past run-ins involving Kennedy Carter, whose own clashes and hard fouls have repeatedly sparked calls for the WNBA to toughen its stance on excessive physicality and to protect players whose drawing power and star status are key to the league's current boom in TV ratings and ticket sales. Analysts dissecting the footage note that Mabrey has a history of playing with a visible edge, but say the swing at Boston goes beyond hard-nosed. Defense in the territory that many agree is more akin to an assault than a foul, especially given the proximity to Boston's face and the fact that, slowed down frame by frame, the motion appears deliberate, controlled, and out of place in a normal jostle for position under the rim. The fact that Boston stayed calm, showing remarkable composure by not retaliating or escalating the situation in the moment, has only intensified respect for her maturity and leadership, while amplifying calls for league officials to step up and do what the referees failed to do that night. Send a strong message that calculated, dangerous swings have no place in the sport, regardless of rivalry or in-game frustration. Adding more intrigue to the situation is the long-brewing tension between Mabrey and Caitlin Clark, who has quickly become both a target for physical defense and a magnet for controversy, thanks to her superstar draw and record-setting rookie buzz. Many believe Mabrey's frustration with the game's physical tone and the hype around Clark's every move may have boiled over, first with Boston as an outlet, then spilling into the direct shove that has now become the second half of this scandal. Notably, insiders point out that Clark herself has faced repeated rough treatment from defenders across the league, raising questions about whether the WNBA needs to rethink how it enforces player safety protocols and ensures its marquee names can perform without facing borderline violence disguised as hard defense, something former players and commentators say risks turning off new fans if left unaddressed. Coaches and respected veterans have spoken out publicly and privately, urging the league to act decisively, with some insiders reporting that discussions are already underway behind closed doors about possible multi-game suspensions, fines, or mandatory anger management measures from Mabrey to make clear this kind of behavior is unacceptable and will draw swift penalties in the future, particularly when the safety of franchise players like Boston and Clark is at stake. Meanwhile, the larger sports media ecosystem is seizing on the story as an example of the growing pains facing the WNBA as it tries to balance a faster, tougher brand of basketball with the need to protect its stars from becoming collateral damage in on-court rivalries that cross the line into personal vendettas, highlighting how critical consistent refereeing and robust league discipline will be as the sport moves into a new era of bigger audiences and higher stakes. Fans remain split on whether Mabrey should be given a chance to explain herself before punishment is handed down. But the majority sentiment online, judging by thousands of tweets and comment threads, is that the swing at Boston alone merits at least a suspension. And when combined with the Clark shove and the clear pattern of losing control in high-stress moments, the league has little choice but to act boldly to protect its credibility and keep the focus on the remarkable skill and drama that has made this season one of the most watched in WNBA history so far. As the fallout continues, the league's next move will speak volumes. A slap on the wrist risks confirming critics' worst fears about weak governance, while a tough penalty could calm tempers, reassure players and fans alike that safety is paramount, and hopefully remind everyone that passion and toughness belong in the game, but violence and unchecked aggression do not. Whether Marina Mabrey's actions were a single lapse in judgment or a symptom of a deeper inability to handle rising tension under the bright lights, the coming days will show if the WNBA is ready to draw a clear line and protect the reputation it has worked so hard to build in a new golden era for women's basketball.